Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Mag Show. Before I even get started on the video, I'd just like to preface it by saying that I was at the Blue Jays game on Monday, Game 7 of the ALCS, and of course I was screaming for hours, so I lost my voice. So now I sound like Macho Man Randy Savage, but it doesn't matter, yeah, because everybody knows the cream rises to the top, yeah. Either way, I'm going to drive my wife nuts for the next week or so. But anyways, let's get into the story right away. We got things to talk about. So, Sarah Bond had an interview. Here it is. I'll pull it up right here. This is from PureXbox.com. And of course, I'll give you the actual quote in a moment. The headline, Sarah Bond, our next-gen console will be very premium and informed by ROG Xbox Ally. What does that mean? Let's get here. Here's the actual quote. I can tell you you're right, that the next-gen console is going to be a very premium, very high-end curated experience. You're starting to see some of the thinking that we have in this handheld, but I don't want to give it all away. It's okay, Sarah, you 100% gave it all away. This is going to be a very powerful, yet very expensive console, PC, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. I'm not into this. This is an Xbox. This is not an Xbox. I don't really care what it is. At the end of the day, while people are arguing about that, the bigger thing is who's buying the products based on the prices. That's all that should matter, not what it's called. Okay, you can call a Ferrari an elephant if you want. It's still a Ferrari. It's still going to cost you $500,000, but it's the people who are willing to buy it. This article tells you exactly that. The name of this video is Who Is This For? That's not meant to be inflammatory at all. I'm literally just telling you who this is going to be for. So now if you break down the market, you've got like the 80 to 85%, let's say at 85% of the casuals, right? They're the Call of Duty, Madden players, NHL players, football club. I'm not saying the hardcore don't play those games. Obviously they do. But these are the guys who sit there, they got a console in their garage, and they're sitting there having some beers with their buddies on it, with their hockey buddies on a Saturday night, and they're sitting around playing some video games. And they might do it once during the week, maybe twice during the week for like an hour or something like that, and then go to bed. They're not on Game Pass. They're not on PS, but well, they might have to be. They might have to be on them in some capacity to be able to play online. But you know what I mean? They'll get like the smallest amount. They're not going to be Ultimate subscribers or PS Plus Premium subscribers. These are people who just want access and be able to play those games. Fortnite players as well. Okay, that's the 85%. I can almost guarantee you right now, you've knocked that 85% right out the box because they're not going to pay $1,000. I mean, there's $1,000 for the ROG Xbox Ally X handheld. Can you imagine what the console's going to be costing? We're going to get into that in a moment. Now you've got the 15% hardcore. Of that 15% hardcore, not even they can afford the ROG Xbox Ally X, most of them. But there's the 5% of that 15% is the extreme hardcore who will go out, buy every single piece of tech, have the money, or make it work no matter what. They will do whatever they have to do to be able to get that tech, trade things in, get another job, go into debt, whatever they got to do, or they just actually have the money for it. And they're the ones who will buy all those products and continue to move forward. If you look at it, like the ROG, I had a lot of people who are hardcore gamers. They're tethered to this passion of ours. But they call me and message me and whatever else, and they're like, Mag, I really want that ROG Ally X, but I simply just can't afford it, or I simply cannot justify paying that amount of money. Up here in Canada, it's almost $1,600 for the ROG Xbox Ally X. So, again, I'm not trash talking this. You guys do whatever you want to do with your money. If it makes you happy, I have a lot of maggots out there who do have the ROG Xbox Ally X, and I said, hey, man, are you enjoying it? And they're like, yes, man, it's really awesome. It's really great, high-end premium experience, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the funny thing is, that's almost exactly what Sarah Bond said. So now if you think about that, let's go back to that quote. Very premium, very high-end curated experience. This is going to be marketed for that 5%. You're not going to get anything above that. I'm sorry, that's just the way it's going to be. I talked to a major Microsoft investor, by the way. He's the one who feeds me all that information. And he's not just on the investor calls. He's also there for investor meetings in person. So he's there talking to these people face to face. And he told me, he says, this was back in May, by the way, of this year, late May. And he said to me that their projections for next generation consoles are 10 to 12 million. And I laughed when he said, I'm going, dude, that's a little low. I'm like, come on, man. I go, even now, this is one of their worst generations. They still have at least 30 plus million, 35 million series consoles out there. And then he's like, well, I'm just telling you what they told me. And that's what he said to me. That's all. And then we haven't talked about that really ever since. But he did say that to me. But now, if you think about it and you look at it in retrospect, it all kind of ties together. Let me go back to something else. In November of 2024, when Phil Spencer said that we will not grow the market with $1,000 consoles, everybody thought that he was taking the piss out of the PS5 Pro because the PS5 Pro was launching that same month. When you actually sit back and think about it, he was talking about his own product. It's not like they made this decision 3 days ago or a month ago or 6 months ago. They knew this was coming for a very long time. In fact, years. They don't make plans for tomorrow or next month. They make plans for the next decade. So that being the case, Phil Spencer knew then that they were going to be doing this PC hybrid thing way back then, and it was going to be very costly. Even if he didn't know the exact cost, he could obviously estimate in his mind. So he knows that he's not going to grow the console base. So why are you doing this? Well, you're doing it to appease that 5 to 15% of the hardcore saying, listen, we're not getting out of the console space. We do have something for you. It's just going to be very expensive. But in the end, if you think about it, it actually could be worth it. Because if you look at the product, very high end, we don't know what the specs are, obviously, but she's saying it's going to be a very high end, premium, curated experience. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you're going to get access to Steam and Windows. That's 2 and 3. You most likely will get PC VR support with that as well. That's a big one. And then, of course, on top of that, you get access to your games, Play Anywhere, and Game Pass if you choose to subscribe. When you look at that on paper, you could say, you know what? That actually makes a lot of sense. I could see that being the price that it is, it's pretty justified. However, justified or not, worth it or not, people are going to go past all that and go straight to, well, I don't have $1,200 or $1,100 US, 1,700 Canadian, 1,800 Canadian to spend so I can fart around with NHL 27 with my buddies. They're not going to do it. Microsoft doesn't care because that's not what they're there for now. They're not there for that growth. They're there for engagement. So what they're going to do is they're going to appease that 5% extreme hardcore and then some of that 15% hardcore. Okay, you've appeased them now. You got them quiet. They're going to go out and buy this no matter what. They're already buying $1,000 handhelds right now. What makes you think that they won't buy a $1,000 or $1,100 desktop version of the same thing? And that's another thing. I can absolutely tell you that without her saying it, she basically said it. And I can almost guarantee it that the next generation Xbox is going to be a desktop version of the ROG Xbox Ally X. So, that being the case, that's who you're appeasing. Everybody else, you still have access to your series consoles. You have access to smart TVs and smart monitors. I've told this story before. I bought this new monitor, beautiful monitor for gaming. And when I turned it on, it started advertising Xbox games right away. And it said, play this, play this, play this, play this. And underneath it said, no console required. People can go out and buy a monitor. They most likely already have a controller. You connect the controller and you can play your Xbox games right from there. Or people will say, you know what, if I'm going to invest this amount of money, I might as well just move to PC, which of course Microsoft wants you to do anyway. This is what they've been working on for so long that they've been trying to get out of the console space, and they're doing so in a very safe and friendly manner for the consumer. They're basically pushing everybody away from that. Or in the very least, you can also say, well, you know what? I can't do all this. Let's just say, for argument's sake, the PS6 is going to be $300 cheaper or $400 cheaper. I'm just making this up, but I'm just saying as an example. They you know what? I'll just get the PS6, and if I want Xbox games, I'll just buy them there. Guess what? Microsoft still wins because they're still going to get 70% of those sales from the PlayStation. You see what I'm saying? They don't care. So whatever imaginary war that's happening with people yelling and screaming at each other, it's all just silly in the end because Microsoft, just like a casino, is taking all your money. And that's what they're here to do. Is the product going to be bad? No. Is it going to be expensive? Absolutely. Is it going to be worth it? I believe it will be worth it. Will everybody buy it? Not a chance. But it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, like I said, they're not here to grow the industry. They're here to get more engagement on their platform. That's all they're trying to do. They're trying to get more people into access points to be able to utilize their software and their services. They're not here to grow a console base. They're not here to make it like you see what I'm getting at here. They're literally just trying to get you to get into those services and software by any means necessary. But what they're doing is compartmentalizing each department of people and trying to keep them at least happy or appease them in one way or another. This new console, very expensive, very powerful console that's going to be coming out, that is going to be for the hardcore people that have shows, that have YouTube channels, that are going to talk about this stuff, and they're going to be there playing this thing saying, hey, this is great, whatever else. But in the end, you're not going to get that casual market. But they don't want that casual market. I think that they want that casual market to just access in other ways. And they're going to, I think, put a harder push on that. They're going to be putting a harder push on access points and accessibility in general for their next generation. Either way, I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think that it's going to be too expensive for you, or is it something that's worth it for you and you're going to be there to buy it day one? Either way, I think it's great as long as you're happy. As long as the gamer is happy at the end of the day and the consumer's happy and you like what you get, that's wonderful. Tell me what you think. Give me your prices, give me your ideas, give me your thoughts as to how much you think it is, and will you buy one, and do you think that anybody in the casual market will get one? But either way, have yourself a wonderful day. We'll be on XNC tonight. Stay magnificent. We'll talk to y'all real soon. Bye now.